Welcome to the Retail Insider video podcast. I'm your host today, Craig Patterson. We're joined here with a special guest, Lisa Hutchinson. She's the managing partner of Toronto-based consultancy, JC Williams Group. Welcome, Lisa.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let's talk a bit about the new Ebeltoft Group book that just came out on retail innovations. This is the 18th year, I think it is.
It is. It's amazing. It's hard to believe. It seems to have gone by so quickly, but this is a publication that people around the world, all our clients, look forward to seeing it. It is a true collaboration with our 18 member countries. And so there's 48 cases this year of very cool innovation from around the world.
Terrific, terrific. Now, for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about JC Williams Group and Ebeltoft Group and how they come together in terms of collaboration and JC Williams Group being part of Ebeltoft Group.
Yeah, absolutely. So JC Williams Group was founded in 1974 by John Williams. And so next year is going to be a 50th year. So we're super excited. We're already starting to plan for that and some really fun things in store. We are a retail consultancy, as you said. We deal with master planning. We work with shopping centers. We have a very robust market research department, as well as very strategy focused. We are the Canadian exclusive members of the Ebeltoft Group, and that is a group of similar boutique retail consultancies globally, as I said, representing 18 member countries. And so it's a true collaboration. We collaborate on research, we collaborate with clients, we share information, and it really gives our clients a true global perspective. And so last year, we just finished celebrating the 30th anniversary of that collaboration of the Ebeltoft Group. And we had a really amazing conference. We meet twice a year. And last year, in the fall, we met in Warsaw. We saw some amazing retail and we had a great celebration with all our members.
Wonderful, wonderful. Where's the party next year?
Well, we're going to be hosting in Toronto next in 2024, but our next session is actually coming up quickly as we head to EuroShop and then subsequently having our next member meeting in Germany. So we're super excited about that. There's a few cases that are in the book this year that we're looking forward to actually going to be able to see physically for ourselves.
Terrific, terrific. Now, this is amazing. We talked a little bit about the book, the collaboration here. Now, there are 4 Canadian case studies as part of
There
the Retail
are,
Innovations book. Do you want to talk about that a
yeah,
little bit?
absolutely. We're so excited that four, a lot of them were featured in Retail Insider. So you know them, being the insider that you are. And we were so excited to have 4 cases chosen. Actually, 2 years ago, we had a winning case from Canada. So it's really exciting to be able to see this. So there was 4 that we're representing. So the Porsche driving, the subscription model. I can go into it a little bit more in detail in a few minutes. The Staples Studio, that Workshare with their studio booths, their podcast booths, their collaboration and Workshare and so on. So that made the book, as well as Altea, the Wellness Social Club. And the 4th being Oxford Experiences. So what we're seeing, these, amazing experiences that Oxford has been presenting with the Friends experience and Barbie and Marvel, as well as the new one they just announced with The Office.
I need to check that one out. I love that show.
Yeah, it'll be
Both
sure.
the British one and the American one. I think the Yorkdale activations for the American one, which was a much
Yeah, I think
longer
so.
running show.
I think so.
Terrific. Do you want to go into a little bit of further details on each of these? We'll encourage people, of course, to go and look at the Retail Innovations book. We're going to have it in our show notes as well, of course. But let's talk a little bit about Porsche, Altea, Staples Studio, and the Oxford experience. So we can break things down a little
Yeah.
bit. Given that Retail Insider, focuses on Canada, we'll talk about some of the global stuff, of course, here as well.
Yeah. So let me just start my presentation kind of where we're at. So basically, it's quite a rigorous process that takes place in terms of planning the case studies. So each member country presents their key case studies somewhere between 5 and 10 cases. And then there's an actual jury that puts together the short list. They read through every single case and they start to categorize. And what starts to happen is themes evolve. And then once we have the key themes for the year, then we're able to categorize where those case studies fall into. And then the ones we really just pick the cream of the crop, and that makes it into it. So every year we have sort of somewhere between 3 to 5 themes. And this year we have 3 themes. The first one being innovation, focused on hyper efficiency. And so we'll go into a deeper dive of each of them. The next one is innovation for enhanced experience. And then the final one is focused on sustainability. And it's really innovation to support a better world is what we're calling it. So just to jump right in and talk about each, and then we can figure out where the Canadian cases fall within each of these key themes because they're spread out amongst the themes. So the first innovation is that hyper efficiency. So when you're thinking about the challenges right now that retailers are having with labor shortages and supply chain and being able to accommodate last mile and so on, those are these things that we really need to be able to understand from that hyper efficiency perspective. So you'll see that these next few cases really exemplify that. So as I mentioned, the Canadian case in this category is the Porsche Drive Experience. And so the subscription model that they offer is a very cool one, and you know all about it, but for the listeners, it's been launched in 4 Canadian cities, and it's really an all-inclusive subscription model. So in the summertime, you can be driving your convertible, and in the winter, and you're going skiing, you can change it to an SUV, and you get a set amount of kilometers, but everything is included in this subscription model. So your insurance, the tire changes, all the maintenance on the vehicle. So the only thing you're doing is basically paying for the gas. And so you can change it out. And it's really great for people that live in cities that have challenges with parking as well, because they don't necessarily have to have these cars when they don't need them. I don't drive my car at all during the week. So we don't, this would be something that would be great for somebody that, lives in a city and works in a city, but only needs their cars at a certain time. So it's like fully app-based. It's very flexible. And so it really fits in very well with being something that's very hyper efficient for the customer as well as Porsche.
This is fascinating. Any idea how much it costs? I'm just kind of curious. I'm thinking of this now myself.
I think it's around $4,200. So, I'm always a bit of, well, if you think about how much your insurance and the lease costs and the maintenance on a vehicle and maybe parking, living in the city, driving something comparable, you're probably already in the, $2,000 a month expense line anyway. So, are you willing to pay for the extra, to be driving a Porsche and having all this extra flexibility?
Very interesting.
So I think it's something that could be easily, and really one of the things that's so cool about the cases and the book is we like to work with our clients and say, what's the takeaway from this case and how you can implement it maybe within your business? What are some of the key features? So, while the price might be a bit prohibitive for some people from a subscription model, it can apply to other kinds of car dealerships. This is sort of takes the, for those in the city, the zip car on one end of the scale, that's, your hourly car that you can get, or, you get the subscription model. So there's lots of room in the middle to be able to take lessons and take some of the knowledge and some of what's working and apply it in your own business.
Excellent.
So we have another, I'll talk to you about, this is different completely, but still falls into the hyper efficiency. And we have some amazing videos. So I actually have a Porsche video and I have a video for this next case. Several that I'm going to be talking about, we have outstanding videos that really bring it to life, and I'm happy to share those for the listeners or those that are watching that want to, just link and have another explanation to see some of this stuff in action, because the Lowe's digital replicated store is really cool, and the video to support it is amazing to really see it in action. So this is really about creating a digital twin of a store, and the associates being able to use it for restocking, visual merchandise. So, everybody knows Lowe's, it has 2,200 stores. And so they've launched this as a test in two of their stores, North Carolina and Washington, I believe. And it's basically an innovation lab. And they're using this metaverse environment to create this this twin store environment. And so it can really be leveraged in multiple ways. So it can be leveraged as a store replenishment tool, and it can be very helpful from this sort of hologram perspective in deciding how to do visual layouts for the store. And so it really uses this AR technology and visioning for the store associates to be able to make sure their store is very hyper efficient. So it's very cool technology, and I think that we're going to see a lot more of this. Our team just came back from the NRF, and we saw a lot of technology around this kind of environment, as well as scanners for stock analysis, which allows them to see where there's outages of product on the floor, and that's all done electronically. So there isn't somebody physically required to do some of those tasks.
Fascinating. I can't wait to see more of this. This is the future kind of in front of us now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I won't go into a lot of detail about the Taco Bell Defy store because it's had a ton of publicity over the last year, but it is live now. We talked about it. We actually nominated it to be in the book last year, but because it hadn't been opened yet and it was just talk, we waited until this year. And the video is outstanding. And one of the things I really love about this environment is somebody's finally said, wait a minute, we have this footprint. We can be way more efficient if we put it on stilts, and we can have these extra drive-through spaces, as well as the interface with being able to order in advance and have the product coming down through these, these chutes down to the drivers. And so again, the video is really outstanding on this. And again, great lessons for real estate people to think about how we can, and the designers of some of these QSRs, as well as any other kind of, for pickup of any kind of online orders and fulfillment. I think this model is, there's some great lessons in this one as well.
Wow. Where's it located? This
one's in Minnesota.
Okay.
But there is a similar model that they're testing in New York City that has some of the same attributes, but just in a physical store, not in this standalone environment.
Okay.
So the next one it's called Quotidiana, and it comes to us from Milan, and it's actually taking the old newsstand and it's reinvented it. And so it's really cool. It looks like the old-fashioned newsstands that you would see, or you still see all over New York City, but it's curated with much more timely products, as well as each of them are curated based on the community in which they are. And so they're very focused on being environmentally friendly. It is offering a new format for some of the quick pickup items. And it's also in partnership with another grocery chain. So it's very curated, that offers services as well, which you can see in some of in the doors on it. It offers community services and ways of giving it extra promotion. So I think it's just a really taking a model and just saying, how can we still take this and in a sustainable way, reinvent what it looks like and how it operates within the marketplace. So the last one I wanted to bring to your attention in hyper efficiency, and there's several more in this category, is a concept called RUI Ready. And the reason this comes from Germany. And last year in the book, we actually focused an autonomous vehicle that they have that is sort of a take on the old coffee truck that goes through business parks and construction areas, toots its horn and says, you know, come and get your hot coffee and your lunches. It was an autonomous, well, it's still in existence, but an autonomous vehicle that drives through, and you can stop it with using the QR code, and you can buy your snacks and so on in that autonomous vehicle. This is from the same company, RUI, but what they've done is they've actually partnered with an energy company called NBW, and that provides e-charging stations. So you can actually go and charge your electric vehicle, and you can shop this RUI Ready shop, which is a 24-hour self-checkout grocery concept, convenient concept. So you can be kind of doing two things together. So we're really excited because it is, you know, solving all kinds of problems, as well as providing this very cool hyper efficiency for the consumer that's charging their car and also using their time to be able to do convenient shopping. So as I mentioned, our next, we're off to Germany for EuroShop at the end of February, and our next Ebeltoft meeting in Cologne, which is actually where the autonomous vehicle is and where this model is. So I'm excited to be able to see it and report back on it in person when we get there.
Excellent.
So the next one, the next category or theme, we're calling innovation for an enhanced experience. And I don't need to tell you, there's all kinds of survey data out there, as well as footfall data out there, that we know that the customer is coming back to the store. There is a high desire to come back into the physical environment. And what we also know is they don't want to come back to boring. They want to come back to an experience. And so this theme came out loud and clear because they just want to really engage when they come to the store, or otherwise, let's face it, they can absolutely just shop online. And so, as we talked about, another Canadian case is the Staples Studio. So there was a Staples Studio pre-pandemic that was a test market on University. And what we learned was, you know, Staples had great success in early work from home. And what they've learned from there is now there is the demand for work share, or when I'm working from home, but I still need to be able to hop and get some sort of support, whether it's printing or it is a workspace because I have young children at home and it's my turn to be able to skip away from the house for a little while, or just to have a collaboration space. And so this particular Staples Studio is new in downtown Toronto. And it shows the things that they've added into this new model. The coffee collaboration with the well-known coffee chain in Toronto. They've got outdoor space. They have co-working space. They have rentable podcast studios. So it's really a great example of an organization that's pivoted and understood what their customer was looking for now. And so they're taking those, you know, the Staples stores were quite warehouse feeling, and they've created an experience now with this new Staples Studio.
Yeah, they're cool stores. I
Yeah,
visited the University Avenue one for sure. I've been there a few times.
yeah, exactly. The next one is it's brought to us by Media Market, and it's also out of Germany. And Media Market, this store is what they actually call a tech village. And it's really taking this idea of all it's a true partnership with some of the best brands and it's in Berlin. This is their flagship store in Berlin. And it's very curated by these brand boutiques. And again, I'll provide video for this because it really, you can see the robots that are moving through the store, providing the customers with that, with the engagement essentially. And it makes you feel like you're walking a trade show floor because they have 35 brands that have their own departments. And so it really feels like you're kind of walking through a trade floor, that you're seeing the best of the best from all the brands. And it's very immersed in technology. So it is really cool. In fact, they also have a section that's curated by Nespresso. And so they actually have even baristas, and you can have this great coffee experience as well.
Excellent. Tying food and beverage into retail.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. And that was, one of the things that we felt was very important with JC Williams Group in 2019 with the acquisition, where my partner and I took over the leadership of the company. He's a food service expert. And we really felt it was timely because there is so much integration of food service in retail these days. The last one in this category I'm just going to talk about is this really interesting activation and way for the brand to interact with the customers. And this is an example with Unilever. And this comes to us from our partners in Brazil. And so there's a product called Omo Laundries, essentially, is the Canadian explanation of it. And so it is this partnership with these laundromats with Unilever, offering their products and branding these franchise laundry facilities, whether it's laundromats or dry cleaners and so on, and leveraging the brand as well. So it is, there is quite a few of them. I can't remember how many. I think there's like 94 in total already. And so it is really an opportunity to show and interact that brand directly with the customer. And so it's a really interesting way to bring brand awareness to the customer in its intended use, and not just, sitting on a shelf in a grocery store.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So the next theme is all about sustainability. And I think it's going to be a theme for a long time to come, and actually essentially just be baked into every single strategy. There was a presentation at the NRF by the folks at Holt Renfrew that were basically saying, like, it is going to just be something that has to be in every element of a retailer's strategy going forward. And so I'll highlight a few here, but again, we're calling it, innovation for a better world, because that's really what sustainability is about. So as I mentioned, there is, we talked about Altea Active right here in Toronto. They're expanding. This one's in downtown Toronto in Liberty Village. And it is this idea of a social wellness club. This particular one opened in 2019. And it is, it is your traditional fitness studio, but it has, you can see by the spin studio, it's an amazing spin studio. They have a huge amount of classes, more kinds of classes than, your traditional fitness facility. But the other thing that they have is they have a bar, which you can see in the picture on the bottom right-hand side. They have collaboration spaces, and it is a membership base. And the memberships are a little bit more than the traditional fitness. The founding members were able to get in at a fairly, really reasonable price. But one of the things that why they call themselves this social wellness is they're catering in these downtown markets to condo owners that have really small footprints. So they, they're thinking of the condo owner or dweller, maybe they rent as well, that has 500 square feet. And so they actually can't, or they maybe don't want to socialize in their home. And this is a way for them to meet. And so as a member, I can take some people with me into this club, And we can go to the bar, we can go to the Starbucks that's in the lobby, we can go to the restaurant, we can sit in some of these amazing spaces, we can have co-working meetings, or I can go to all these fantastic wellness exercise environments. I can sign up for a spin class. They have salt rooms, they have meditation, they have all kinds of really creative wellness focused activities. And so we really think that that is a way to not have to have these, really big footprint condos, because this is still a way to have people collaborate and engage with one another.
Oh, now I wish I lived closer to Liberty Village.
Well, they are expanding, but this one is very cool. I thought the same thing. We had the opportunity for a tour, and we were all sort of yeah, exactly. When are they building one on the east side for me?
Any
The
insight into that? And have they told you any more coming in terms of
I
location?
don't know of specific sites, but I do know that they are expanding. So it's very exciting.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, we get one near where we live.
Exactly. The next one is called Nixon Next, and it comes from the Netherlands. And the thing that's really interesting about this one is it's really playing on the trend that we're seeing in non-alcoholic beverages. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot more with wellness, particularly with millennials. There's a lot of focus on non-alcoholic. And so this really plays off that trend, as well as being very environmentally friendly in their store design, their fixtures, how they operate, trying to get, they're falling into the better world, not just from the way they curate their merchandise, but also because they feel that this really plays into the wellness for a better world. And so it's really for those customers that aspire to live healthier and focusing on that demand. And so they really want to be able to provide these alcohol-free alternatives, but still providing this really outstanding experience. And so it doesn't mean you can't enjoy beautiful bottles and bubbly beverages, but that are non-alcoholic.
Cool.
The next one comes from Carlsberg, and that's right. This is not about a retail store, but it's about a brand that has been very focused on sustainability. And again, the video is super cool for this one, but the bottle is 100% biodegradable and recyclable.
Wow.
And so it is made, it's the first bio-based bottle. They're calling it the green fiber bottle. And so they've done so much testing to create something that is recycled glass for the inside, and then the outside is made from wood fiber. And then they actually replace those trees with 2 to 3 trees that are cut down to create these bottles. Even the bottle cap is recyclable. And so, it was interesting, and, to see it, I'm really excited to see one in person, because, I don't know about you, but using paper straws is not my favorite thing. So, the fact that they've created this bottle that still has that glass element, I think is really cool. And the last one I just wanted to bring to your attention that I thought is really cool is called Creative Cables. And this is a store, this is out of Italy, and they have 7 stores, and it's really about recycling. And so if you have an old lamp, essentially, or any kind of old electronic device of some kind that you want to reinvent, they'll bring it, you can bring it in, and they'll completely revamp it for you, and they'll turn it into this art piece. And so they're really about converting, and so it's that touching on personalization as well as sustainability. So rather than throwing out an old lamp, bring it in, and they'll help you reinvent it and do something super cool with it. So 60% of all its stock that, and even if you don't bring something in, but you want to have something made, they'll take the parts of other old items, household items, and reinvent them for you. So I think that is a really cool concept, to keep things out of the landfill. Just because something's a bit dated doesn't mean it can't be reinvented.
I like it. That goes for people too. I'm kidding. Well, I'm not actually.
So that's really just a sample of some of the key things. Like I said, there are 48 case studies, and I think I've presented 10 or so today. We are launching a webinar series that we'll be taking through a different, for the next 3 weeks, we'll be taking people through that sign up for our webinar. They'll be able to do a deeper dive into each of the categories and themes throughout the weeks, as well as I'm thrilled to be able to share some of the videos that we talked today. And then people can go to our website or to our social media, or just use that QR code right now to be able to download the book. It just launched on February the 1st. So it is hot off the presses.
Excellent.
And
excellent.
then certainly they can follow us or me on social media to be able to access any of this.
Amazing. We'll put all this into the show notes here as we set this up for the video and the audio podcast.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, some of it comes as, our Canadian inspiration, as you know, comes from Retail Insiders. So that's amazing too.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming next year in terms of retail innovation. I think that we've seen the world move a little bit faster than we expected because of the pandemic in terms of digital adoption. So now we're seeing more, I think, tech in stores, and we're seeing more, integration of online with stores and whatnot. I mean, these are trends we've talked about before, but now they're really coming to fruition here, aren't they?
As I said, we were at the NRF, and a lot of robotics, holograms, tech, shelf merchandise readers, and so on. So it's here now, and so we're starting to see it more and more.
Terrific. Well, I look forward to having you back. We're going to have you back next year, if not before. We'll have you in Retail Insider more as well, because Lisa, you've got a wealth of knowledge around the retail industry in all kinds of different areas. So thank you so much again for joining us, Lisa.
Thanks for having me.
This has been Lisa Hutchinson. She's the managing director of JC Williams Group, a Toronto-based consultancy that's done all kinds of things. We'll be celebrating 50 years coming up here, apparently. I wasn't aware of that. Time really flies. And I'm Craig Patterson. I'm Craig Patterson. I'm the publisher, founder, and CEO of Retail Insider Media, hosting this new video series as well as podcast. And we'll be getting into all kinds of new stuff here as we move into 2023 a little bit more. Thank you so much, everyone, here for being with us today. Take care, and bye for now.